How's it going, people? I hope you're doing fantastically well. I had time to digest our last video. Now, a few things have happened since that video. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Kim seems to have become 100% behind a paywall now. So if you want to read or listen to any of her content, you have to pay subscription, which I'm not surprised, as there were a few people that were subscribing to Kim, a fake news website, and they were downloading her content and then sharing it on different platforms. But now she doesn't seem to be doing any of that. But she is fully behind a paywall, which says it all, really. Work it out for yourself. Doesn't take much, does it, to work it out why she's doing it. But anyway, Thomas Williams has since put out one of his a show on Spreaker, and it kind of fits in really well with what's been going on with Kim over the past few years, and him. They seem to be very rattled by something, because of course not long ago Kim, a few weeks ago actually, starts bringing up Team Bubba again in a news channel, and now you've got Tiny, as we call Thomas Williams, bringing up Kim and revealing more secrets or making stuff up. That's the thing. And now I'm going to play you a few clips, maybe 3 clips from his show, which was last Thursday. And this is the kind of craziness, should I pay in a polite way, that this person's putting out. And it's no different from what Kim's putting out, but she's doing it with different content. They're just completely crazy. They really are. And then, revealing that Kim and Thomas met in a mental institute, kind of like what's going on now kind of feeds all that, and be looking more and more likely to be 100% true. So anyway, I'm going to play this first clip. Now, not long ago, Thomas made out that, because it is a cult, the THI, but he's made out that a lot of his members have been fantasizing about him, about fantasizing, sleeping with him and things like that. I mean, us in Team Bubba have been absolutely pissing ourselves laughing at this, because this is just unbelievable. You just got to look at the guy. Look at the guy, many things, spiritually and physically, and you can just say, no thanks, sorry, in a polite way. But his this is the kind of thing what goes on in cults. Now he's making out, oh, no thank you. So why mention it then, Thomas? Why are you bringing it up in your shows? This must be the 3rd time you've mentioned that members of THI are fantasizing about you, have actually asked, to sleep with you and things like that. Why mention it? Why bother bringing it up unless you're a narcissist and an egotist as well? So you just have this massive ego where you think, an arrogance about you, and it's always about women. Always about women. I don't know, you're disgraceful. You're an absolute pig of a man. To say you're a man, I feel ashamed, the fact that you call yourself a man. And I'm sure many others do. But anyway, have a listen to this, and I'm sure you'll have a little giggle towards the end of it.
Brought that to the fore, and the Cosmic Genetic series rubber stamped it. And we have spoken about members believing that I'm sleeping with them in dream time, and it all feels so nice according to the ones that reported it. But that's not me.
I'm sure that made you chuckle as much as it did us. But he's so obsessed with sex and women Something that Kim put out on a United News Channel Facebook page when she eventually dumped him for Tank. So this is what I'm showing you now. Clarification statement in response to Mr. Williams' recent public announcement. Now, he'd already been saying some not so nice things about Kim, but you know, that's another subject. As previously revealed by myself and also via Mr. Williams himself, there's been an ongoing investigation conducted by the Russian authorities into Team Bubba's connections to a child auction site with a Lithuanian server and several connected child pornography sites. During these investigations, it's been discovered that Mr. Williams also has connections to the same Lithuanian server and is now being investigated by the Russian authorities. Due to the above, I can no longer associate myself with Mr. Williams and will continue to assist the Russian authorities with their investigations that now sadly include Mr. Williams. So what does that say then, Kim? Does that say that Thomas's Team Bubba is being paid by David Rare? David Rare has nothing to do with Team Bubba, and we've never had a leader. Just a group of people that have got together that were ex-victims of theirs. Anyway, just to add a bit more fuel to the fire, I'm going to play you a video where Kim actually admits that Thomas tried to bed her, is obsessed by her, and she's talking to Chris Rice on his show. Have a listen to this.
Number two, I appreciate the Thomas Williams followers on your call as well, right? So they're here to make sure that they make comments in the chat against me, right, on behalf of Thomas. However, what they're missing is the whole reason why Thomas Williams and I no longer speak is because Thomas did not like the fact I did not want to sleep with him. And he was angry about that. So now he spends every week saying what a horrible person I am. And it really all goes back to the fact I don't, and I have not, and I never will sleep with Thomas Williams. So there's your answer.
And I know we've talked about that. I've even actually reached out to Thomas Williams. He's not responded to me in any capacity. Even your buddies over at Team Bubba have reached out to me and talked to me, but yeah, I can't get Thomas to respond in any capacity.
So there you go. It just kind of proves that there was definitely some conversation going on between Thomas and Kim about sleeping with each other. Now it's either a complete fantasy of Thomas's, where if I was in THI and a female, I'd be absolutely worried. I would not want to be left alone with someone like him. Considering the amount of information we received from ex-members about Thomas Williams. Now, we can't post any of that or say any of that without any proof, as in someone coming on and actually talking about it. But we're not going to say any more than that. But the fact that Kim has brought out kind of similar to what we've heard about Thomas, that he wanted to sleep with Kim and he was upset. Or was Kim wanting to sleep with him? Now this is Thomas Williams's version of what happened. He's, after what, 2 years, 3 years, he's now come out and wants to speak about Kim and really what demented they really are. Absolute cuckoo. I'm trying to be polite as much as I can, but because so many people have been hurt by them, I can't be that polite. But have a listen to this and you tell me what's going on.
Now, 2,000 years ago, Mary went off with Jeshua 9, who was an avatar, not 12. And so Jeshua 12, it was announced, was trying to get Mary back in the 2000s, the time of the technology-based beings again. Now Marduk returned in the 2000s again, in tow with the Eve. And the great question now is, was Mary of 0 AD actually Kim Goguen, the person who appeared out of nowhere around the key 2016-2017 time? And yet in 2020, just 44 days after the day of the Sfarag appeared, she disappeared in a cloud of wrath. Now, Kim, remember, worked directly with Marduk. Yet curiously said she didn't know who he was. And during an engagement between the two of them, Marduk told her, "We have done this every 2,000 years. Let's see if we can win this time," he said to her. Every 2,000 years on the even numbers? The technology-based saviour beings operating in and around the arrival of the day of the Sfarag, arriving just before the eve of the day of the Sfarag. But what were Marduk and Kim supposed to win is the big question, is it not? Now, Kim told me she remembered being with quote-unquote Jesus in 0 AD, and then changed it to stating she was Jesus in 0 AD. So if she was the male at that time, was Marduk the female? Was it really Mary Duke instead of Marduk? Who knows? These off-world and their body swapping. But just after Kim's appearance around 2016-2017, she requested my support into ending Marduk altogether, which I obliged after she got herself in trouble again with him, and Marduk's demise was finally delivered. But Kim then started to speak of being designated as having a second child this lifetime. And I made the joke, it won't be me, as I've already had the snip. And she said it could always be reversed, which kind of shocked me at the time. But then one of our members, who is very intuitive and psychic, revealed to me a few years later, and she said she had had a vision and revealed a plan that she thought was what Kim and Marduk were up to all along, and that Kim was planning to have a child with me. Now, I kind of dismissed that at the time, asking why me, but other things have made me take a second look at it. Because despite her Clinton-esque protestations of me pestering her to sleep with me, which were not true, because for most of the time I was with Kim, I was more than happy with Chloe. But after Chloe left for the final time, it did come under consideration after numerous leading comments by Kim before, during and after Chloe. Just 1 week before the split, Kim asked me to put all of our stuff in storage at the end of our separate rental leases and to travel around the country together as partners to see how we get on together before moving into a shared house. Now, that is the first time publicly, there's only a very few who know that privately, that I've shared my side of the story.
So the mysterious sleep with who continues. I mean, this is not all about who sleeps with who. It's just to show how far they would go to defend themselves and to throw shit at each other. That's his own words, and you heard Kim, what she had to say, what Kim had to put on the Facebook page about him. Thomas coming out, making out there was some other THI member that had some kind of psychic power, you know, and revealed that, you know, that he's going to have a baby with her or whatever. It's just crazy. There's no other member saying this, Thomas. It's you making it up. Or it's Kim that's been leading herself on to you. I doubt it very much. If you put the two of you together, goodness me. I'm sure a lot of people watching this video are going to say the same. But anyway, what I'm showing you at the moment is another clip, what should I say, post from Kim on a United News Channel Facebook page. Well, yeah, it was a page. And this was, she just couldn't let it go. Kim doesn't like anyone getting the better of her. So you did a good few rips into Kim prior to this post she put on there. But this is what she's put. Due to Mr. Williams' continual slandering of me and his refusal to keep it zipped with his latest ludicrous fairy tale about my involvement in mutilating and consuming children, which he did put on there. He also thinks that she's a clone and being replaced or whatever. It's all about clones, isn't it, really? I feel I have no option but to reveal some more information regarding the reasons why I removed him from his position working for the trust. I confirm, Mr. Williams and I were not romantically involved. He and I are not, never have been, and most certainly will never be romantically involved. However, considering some of the content and messages I've received concerning this, I'm forced to reveal some information about a very personal and private matter, as what happened recently and obviously leaked. An incident with him did take place a couple of months ago at my house, which we believe was when it was his birthday. She made a cake for him, which left me feeling very shaken, frightened and extremely upset. The moment the incident happened, I knew from that point onwards our personal and working relationship was completely dead, and I had to distance myself from him immediately. I do not want to reveal any more details regarding this at this stage, but if he continues to slander me, I will, and I would also like to publicly thank Tank for his support and give me in this incident. So Tank supported her while Thomas was trying it on with her at her house. The fact that she put the beginning to keep it zipped, I mean, what did he do? You know, is he a bit of a flasher? Did he drop his pants and say, Kim, look? I don't know. He just makes me laugh. Just to look at the guy, and probably makes me puke at the thought of it as well. But as you can see, that, you know, these are two people that met in a mental institute, developed their relationship very close to, well, definitely to rip people off. Kim found someone better in Tank. I think she might have done the same to him, what she did to Thomas by saying she wants his child, God knows what. And that's probably why Tank's out on his arse as well. But I've got another clip for you. You ever listen to this and I'll come back to you.
Kim, of course, is all about technology with quantum systems, banking systems and digital wallets. Or is it digital twin wallets? Marduk, of course, always had a plan, a safety net, and covered his bases with his massive compartmentalization programs. But around 2017, I heard of the chip in Kim's head, another technological reference. And this was also confirmed by Anna von Reitz and her links with the Langley 2 agents. And the story was that Kim was taken as a child at just 6 years of age and a chip implanted in her head, presumably at MIT, which is close to where she lived in Boston. Coincidentally or not, there is a guy who works on the study of brains in MIT. His name, Michael Goguen.
It's funny with these scammers, isn't it? These liars, that it's either a clone, someone's been cloned, or they've got a chip in their mind. You know, straight away that should be ringing bells, shouldn't it? It's just utter crap bullshit. There's a good chip in Kim's head since she was 6, and yeah, there is a Michael Goguen. Seems to be linked to her. I mean, some people say it's her brother. We had someone come forward, messaged us privately, and said that it was it was her father, and he was in the military. And it's funny, she gets a military pension, so there's probably more legs to that than anything else. But oh, and this Michael Goguen was part of some kind of a psychological thing, and she probably is part of some program of some kind. But a chip in the head, I don't know. We've heard it all. It's clones and chips, isn't it? So the next one is just kind of a bit of a continuation, where he claims that Kim's chip in her head is actually Marduk, and that she's got some kind of a split personality, I guess, where it just switches from one to the other. And yeah, then of course I'll let it run right through to the last clip where he's also brings Randy Morgan's, Chloe's ex, and Shane the Bruner in. He always has to throw that in, that they're chipped as well and part of the programs, and that they're nasty, but he forgives them and he's going to help them and stuff. So have a listen. I mean, look, when you've listened to all this, now you know why both were hospitalised in that Park View hospital. Call it that, mental hospital. So they definitely were together, and they definitely need to go back in there to get some help. So if you want to come forward and help others, then now's the time.
The final piece of this puzzle goes back to the aptly named movie called Quantum Mania, and the character Marduk, who is just a head with uploaded consciousness. And you know how they have to reveal things in movies, but what if Marduk or Marduk is the chip in Kim's head? I know the chip is in her head. I tried to help her and remove it, but was told from higher up, don't, it will kill her. Is there evidence that Kim is now hosted by Marduk? Well, she certainly doesn't act feminine anymore. More a bullish, masculine type, arrogant, dismissive and wrathy, like all the fake gods and goddesses of the past, and indeed just like Marduk himself. Kim, you are IBM, and for the sake of your daughter, fix it. Some of those traits I witnessed. Most of them were stated by disenfranchised Life Force members. And recent visits to Durango suggest she's either not there or her frequency has completely disappeared. And know some who listen to her are suggesting she's not real and just a CGI, which I cannot confirm or deny, as I've not watched or listened to her since October 2020. But the very sudden shift in her whole demeanour is suggestive of host possession via a corrupted chip. Only she can fix that, and that was the reason for attempting to meet her recently when she didn't turn up. And Kim, like all other in the programmes, likes of Chloe, Shane, Randy and others, are victims of this heinous off-world circus game. But that doesn't mean they can victimise others and get away with it. I will continue to fight against their programmers because that is the right thing to do. I don't care whether you are a Rothschild, Rockefeller, Romanoff or any other bloodline family member. What happens to their children is just plain evil. And I will always fight against it, no matter how much wrong those people have done to me. But Kim had become more and more agitated from February onwards in 2020. After her CIA Black Sun handler, who she bedded for nearly 2 years, revealed what their plan was to her, and she then revealed it to me. The CIA Black Sun handlers she had around her, known as the security team, were to take advantage of me moving to Durango with Kim to get me on board with them with seducements and then install me as the trustee and I would work for them. And once that was done, the two handlers, including Kim's boyfriend, would then kill Kim and her daughter and end her family line. They didn't, of course, expect that I don't fall for seducements, and neither do I have a price, no matter how much they tried. Now, I'm not sure how they knew I would be able to operate the trust and the quantum system, and I still don't understand it, but it is what it is. And so my morals and principles saved Kim and her daughter's life. And that wasn't the only time I saved Kim's life either, as she revealed on the Christmas Zoom in 2019. And for that, I get lied about in public via cryptocurrency shows and shows with a Rothschild half-human, half-Draco being. The same Rothschilds group that killed many of her family in the past, I might add. Does that all really sound like Kim?
You know, as I play more and more of these, you should now be accepting the fact that not just Thomas himself, but Kim as a pair, you know, they're both nutty as a fruitcake, aren't they? So now what we got here? So now he claims Kim's boyfriend, who we know to be Charlie Hill, very strong. Exactly, most of our information it comes from someone very, very close to her, and who is very close to her still at this time. So he's claiming that Charlie Hill is CIA. Well, we know he's a scammer. There's even a rip-off report on him. Not a nice guy. Worked with Kim for quite a few years. That's how they know each other. And Tom's just jealous. He's just a real jealous person who'd rather make this guy out to be a CIA than a fraudster, because if he was to say Kim's boyfriend Charlie Hill is a fraud, is a scammer, then what does it make him? So that's why he's making this shit up about Charlie Hill. It's not CIA. You know, we remember why. Well, this is what Thomas told us when we was in THI. He said he had to leave Florida for his life, to save his life, because he was a targeted man. But the cabal were after him, and they were going to take out anyone that's linked to Kim. So he says, I'm moving to Durango where it's safe. There's a safe haven there, where there's a security team that you'll be under Kim's security, and it's a no-go for the cabal apparently. So he moved out there for that. Now we have strong sources that say he also moved out. He moved out of Florida because he'd ripped off so many people that he was going to be beaten up. He couldn't go outside. This is what he does. He just goes around and rips off it. We said he was well known in Kissimmee for ripping off people, doing crappy jobs on their home and overcharging, not going back, taking the deposits, borrowing money and not giving people it back. You know, he had to move out of Florida because he was scared of being killed, probably by one of his own victims. So let's just go with Thomas's version. So he went to Durango, and this CIA boyfriend and handlers wanted him to become the new trustee, you know, to operate this sophisticated off-world quantum computer and all these other systems that Kim's allegedly made. And the boyfriend and the handlers were going to kill Kim and the daughter just to end the family bloodline. You know, and then at the end he has to make himself out as the hero, to say, you know, oh, I saved her life. If it wasn't for me, both Kim and her daughter would be dead. You know, it's not the first time he saved her. You know, this is it. It's a saviour program bullshit that he's offering. It's a psychological thing he's offering to his cult to say, you know, I can do things. I can't be tempted, you know, with what did he say? Oh, I can't remember what he said. It was to do with, he can't be tempted with seduction, that's it, and money. Well, not from what we've seen, not from what we've heard, and of course Kim saying that he come on to her. So where else do you go with that?